are non-dual teachings really working for you? And let's be honest, because one thing we want them to work. We want all these great pointers, but all these great teachers to work for us. And they kind of do, because you feel inspired by the words of these people who are more realized, and it's inspiring. And it feels a little bit, you can tell by the way they express it. But then it comes the moment when you're alone, when you have your life, and you have to be very honest if it is really making a huge difference in your life. Sometimes it may do that, but many other times it may not be like that. And it's really okay. Everybody goes through some ups and downs. So it's not something that is wrong with you. It's not something that you are doing that is wrong. This has been happening for thousands of years. Exactly what you're experiencing. We just have a modern way of having a YouTube video or an audiobook telling us about it, but it's the same path, still the same path it has been for thousands of years. So there is this realization of awareness which promises perfect happiness. And although we can sort of indirectly, some way experience that is truth and infer that is the case, something about us kind of opens when we are exposed to these teachings. The question is, on the day-to-day basis, in the way you treat other people, in the way you live your life, in the deeper, innermost truth about how you feel on every day, is it working? Because there's nothing wrong with the teachings, but there's a reason why they may not work. Every time, at least. And that it is that if our mind is distracted, we don't have the sensitivity to integrate the direct pointing. So the irony of the direct path of non-duality, it is that you have to clean yourself a lot just to suddenly get it. So if you see, let's say, for example, in Zen or classic non-duality or Advaita, people take a long time to suddenly get it. We normally want to point out to this, oh, they just suddenly got it. It was the moment of realization and they just got enlightened. Most Zen stories are about exactly that. And we can feel the spontaneous truth about this moment being the only thing, and non-duality being the ultimate truth, or at least the closest that can be expressed with words. But is it really, honestly, working for you? And it will work a little bit. If you read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or many of the great books out there, you can tell this is great. It resonates profoundly. But can you integrate it in every moment of your life? That is the next question. Because, okay, you have been exposed to the teachings and you just get it. You know all the words in your head. Your mind knows all the answers spiritual teachers many times tell to the questions they get. But honestly, do you really feel it? Do you feel free? Do you feel at peace when you go at night to sleep? You let yourself go. Do you rest in perfect peace? When you wake up in the morning, do you smoothly just enjoy the sensory experience? Or that your mind just gets restless and distracted, and we get into this continuous activation of inner patterns that just drive us crazy, and we say, no, this is not so nice. Sometimes I feel scared. Sometimes I feel hurt by what other people may say. And many times I'm worrying about everything. And sometimes I'm sad because there are so many things you cannot control, and you may lose all the people you love. So there's so many reasons for not feeling okay in every moment, that as much as you may have direct pointing from teachers, it may not be fully working. And this is not your fault. This has been happening for thousands of years. So, what's the solution? The solution is that, well, I try to make the point of sensitivity. If you're not sensitive to the pointing, then the pointing is not going to work. What does it mean, sensitivity? It means that you're fully embracing the moment, ironically. How you do that? Well, the question is, what are you doing to not realize it? Because we all know it is a fact. That is the nature of everyone to be permanently happy. Adam and Eve were in heaven. It's all around all religions. You are some way pure. And yet, we live a life that we could say is far from being pure. And we feel distress, and we feel stress, and we feel dissatisfaction, and we feel a never-ending race. And we try just to motivate ourselves and get into that. And the non-dual teachings work, but many of the pointings are like a sparkle that will only work if you are dynamite. So the real question in the spiritual path is not that you're going to be exposed to triggers. Everything can be a trigger. Making this video, you watching this video, anything can be a trigger. Then your next breath can be a trigger to realize your nature. So it's not that you're missing that. You're not missing pointing out. What are we missing? We're missing the openness to embrace it. What is that openness? That openness is difficult to describe maybe, but you can tell by how your mind is. You notice that your mind is more peaceful, it's more calm. And then you start noticing more things about your reality, about what's happening. Sensory speaking, call that mindfulness. You are just aware of this and you practice that. I think it's a great way to start. But of course, it goes deeper than that as non-duality points. What about if everything changes, then what are you? Who are you really? To find the truth about life beyond death, beyond galaxies, beyond economy, beyond everything. What is the truth, the ultimate truth? That is obviously unspeakable. And yet you are diving on it all the time. So it's not that you are missing God. It's not that you don't have access to this permanent happiness. The question is, what are we doing constantly to get out of it? That's the real question. That's how you make the non-duality work. Ironically, there is no doer, but meditation is practicing non-doing. And you may think, wait, that sounds, it is a paradox. But again, go through the history of thousands of years or people before you and me walking this path. You will constantly see that enlightened beings kept practicing some sort of spiritual non-doing. We call it meditation. Of course, you can do it sitting on your chair. You don't need to make it in a specific way, but you definitely have. For example, non-dual teachers, sometimes they say they don't meditate. But if you see their lives, they're sitting all morning without doing anything. They're chilling their way to the shopping. They are just in a completely different mindset about everything. So you could say that they're actually meditating all the time. So it's just a clever way. You don't have to meditate because you cannot do the meditation. The meditation happens to you when you open your mind to it. And opening your mind means resting your attention. You could, for example, rest your attention on your breath and let it be there. And then suddenly you notice your mind gets active. And in the same way that you would want it to sit, and someone will come and tell you, hey, come here, and you will just go there. That's an activity. You actually don't have to move. So perfect stillness in your attention is nothing that requires effort. It's nothing that a doer does. So meditation is actually non-duality at practice. That is how it looks. And meditation can happen in many different ways. It doesn't need to be passively sitting cross-legged on the floor. No, that's just one way. Meditation, just to say in a very colloquial way, it's attention training. Just to realize that you're not training anything. It's attention retraining to rest your attention. And when your attention rests, then anything is a direct pointing. Everything points to non-duality. And suddenly, everything is just there. And you sort of remember that you have been always free, all along the way. But we thought we weren't. We were convinced that we weren't. And everything around us seemed to be telling us that we are separate beings and everything is not fine. Just to one day realize that if you just let go, and by let go I mean mental activity. And by mental activity I don't mean that you stop your mind necessarily. You can, but you don't have to. I'm talking about not grasping into it, not being identified with your thoughts. And you may say, I heard that before. But how you do it? Well, the first step, the grounding step, the foundation step is stabilize your mind single-pointedly. That's the first level of relaxation in your mind. And when you learn to do that, you go deeper. And you go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until you are in deep sleep. Your body and your mind are in deep sleep, but you're awake. That's a sure path that has been done for thousands of years. Is inside the teachings of yoga, Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, mystic Christianism, Sufis. It's just there. Taoism maybe feel very dynamic, but still it's the same thing. It's non-doing. And non-doing, ironically, for someone who feels themselves as a person, non-doing seems like an activity. And that is where I end up suggesting you again to practice meditation, stabilize your attention. Don't let your mind drive you crazy. And the experience of you releasing your mind, the experience of you stabilizing your mind is crystal clear. You will know it. The whole of your being, beyond your body and your mind, you just know it will suddenly will resonate profoundly. You know you are there. You feel the aliveness of your presence. So I will subscribe to the advice of great teachers like Nisargadatta, Ramana Maharshi, but endless Buddhist teachers too. Cultivate a peaceful mind first, and then everything will make sense. You don't need to understand it. Your mind doesn't need to understand the path. You don't need to add or learn anything. It just happens by letting go. And you will say, yeah, I try to let go, but I cannot let go of this suffering. I cannot let go of all these things that I'm worried about. I cannot let go of all these memories. Well, learn to meditate better. Because you will realize that, you're doing something wrong. I don't have time to go through specific techniques today's video, but you can learn step by step to relax your body, relax your breath, relax your mind. And when everything's still like a lake without waves, then the direct pointing will absolutely take you there. Just one time. And after that, you may need to relax yourself a lot to let go of all these habitual tendencies. But you will be happy, you will be satisfied, because you know you're on the right path. And every cell of your being, every thought that crosses your mind, every moment of awareness tells you and corroborates that you are in the end of the path already, while you are apparently walking the path. So just be fine, walk the path. Be happy walking the path, and bam, you already finished the path while doing the path. So practice meditation is the only I'm practicing your mind step by step. And if you want a direct pointing, get a direct pointing. But everything is direct pointing when your mind is open and steady and calm and effortless. Then you don't need a teacher. You don't need any pointing. Life itself is a pointing. Every sensory experience is a reaffirmation. It's like a mirror where you see your face. That you are just pure love.